Hello there, I'm DeeDust and welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to be reading you a short story of my own. Aisle 13. A kid wanders up as I'm stocking shelves with green cans of something. The words on the can are English. Of that I'm sure, but the font used is so ornate that I can't read them. The only image on the cans is of a sun with a human face. Its eyes closed and mouth gaping open, so that it's either regurgitating the words on the label or getting ready to eat them. I can't tell which. The tags on the shelf are missing too, so I have no idea what is actually in the cans. They're a little on the heavy side, despite being the size of a regular soup can, and they slosh when I set them down. I can feel the vibration of several things hitting the sides when I shake them curiously. "Are you hiring?" the kid asks, and I silently look at him for a minute. He's young, high school age at most. His clothes look brand new, and of the kind that fashion dictates must be expensive, even though all his peers must have their own set that look exactly the same. Like his clothes, the kid is bland and easily forgettable. I want to tell him we aren't, but I know the rules, so I only sigh. Yeah, we're always hiring here. There's a kiosk up front. In a merciful world, the kid would wander off to try and find it himself, and maybe be spared. Mercy is not a word known in this world, though. "Can you help me find it?" I put the last can on the shelf. My unmarked box is empty, despite the fact it had been brimming full just seconds ago. I place the last can on the shelf, and the sun's eyes are wide open. Malevolent red irises stare right back at me, and I know it's eating the words as I collapse the box and step back. "Sure, kid. Follow me." I take him around the outside way, skirting the maze-like inner aisles of the store, and keeping to the perimeter like any employee who has worked here for long does. We don't meet anyone else on the long trip to the front of the store, and the kid stays too close on my heels for me to lose him around a corner. I wonder how long he's been in the store looking for someone. I've known people who claim to have wandered the inner aisles for months before finding a single soul. And the way they clung to the simple presence of another human being is close to what the kid is showing now. The kiosk is a rickety table with an old, battered computer resting on it, between the front entrance and the returns desk that no one ever leaves. I nod to the old woman standing solidly behind it, waiting patiently. She doesn't acknowledge me, and I feel relieved. "Here it is," I tell the confused-looking kid who is looking from the table to the front door he had to have entered through. "Just fill out every question it asks, and hit enter when you're done." "Okay, thanks, I guess." The kid sits down and reaches for the gray mouse. The screen lights up even before he can touch it, and I turn away from the seemingly benign series of questions that pop up at first. I don't need to know the kid's name now. I'll learn it later if I ever see him again. The questions in the kiosk will get harder as the kid goes on. Harder and more personal. Not everyone who comes in is strong enough to finish them. The kid reminds me of myself in an odd way. We have nothing in common from what I can tell in our short interaction, but the thought is there. I came into the store one day and asked the same questions he did. I was only looking for a job, something temporary, minimum wage, to tide me over the summer break. I don't remember the name of the man who brought me up to the kiosk. I haven't seen him at all since then, and that was years ago. I wonder if he had the same urge I have now, to reach out and pat the kid on the back of his head, to give him the last bit of compassionate human contact he might ever receive. I don't, though, because there are rules in place, and management is not forgiving. The screams from the people who do break the rules get piped through the intercom system sometimes, and I never want to be in the position to find out what could make a person scream so loudly. Duty done, I leave the kid to his fate and take the long way back to the aisle I was assigned to. Other employees pass me wordlessly, some nod in greeting, but many just stare right through me, their eyes wide with the unnameable horror of what they'd seen that day. My cart is still there when I arrive, and I wedge the folded box in with the few other boxes I've managed to empty. The next one is already open for me and I look into it. The containers inside are small and triangular. There's no words on them at all. The box is a solid black so dark it seems to suck in the lights from overhead. It's cold to the touch and buzzes slightly under my fingers. I look up at the aisle that doesn't seem to end and push my cart down it, looking for an empty spot to place the boxes. It took me 3 weeks to find a spot for these cans. One will show up for the boxes. Eventually. That's just the way it always is in aisle 13. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this story, hit that like button. Consider sharing and subscribing to the channel to be alerted to new uploads. If you'd like to see something specific on my channel, leave a comment below and I will look into it. Good night, everyone.